All right. Good Monday evening. It is September 18th, 2023, and we are here at precisealgorithmtrading.com going through the markets. So, what do we do today? This is our automatic trading systems. This is the Dow Futures, and it's just walking pretty much sideways in this box right here. This is our equity. It's not the market itself, it's the results of our trading. So, um, we pulled back a little bit today, and that shows up here in these trades. Today's 9/18, so looks like a handful of trades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them for a net negative. We had one positive trade in there, but it's not about any one day. It's about the accumulation of all of this. So, and then if you look at the weekend review, we show this thing out 12 to 15 months. And same thing goes for this. This is the Russell. It's been just really beat down this recent, really since about April, I think. This goes all the way back to March. So it's due for a bounce, and we are getting back close to break even here. But yeah, it's still fine on the 12 to 15 months as well. And all it had today was one trade right there, negative. Um, and then the Nasdaq, which is still my favorite, and it's still, I mean, it's looking pretty toppy right here, kind of like this back here. But in the scheme of things, it's just fine. What we need it to do is just start a new trend, move higher. Unfortunately, we might have to undergo something like this before we get to be able to take off. I hope not. It'd be really nice if we didn't. Um, and then this is what it looks like. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 trades today, and one positive one. The other one's, like I say, it's the net result, not any individual day or even any individual trade. Although trades like that one are nice. So, all right, that is that. Let's flip over to Thinkorswim and look at the markets. So, been tracking this. I took off a lot of the colors and stuff and did this over the weekend for the weekend review. Um, Trying to clarify some things, clean some things up, and went ahead and added back in the RSI zones at the bottom there for the sake of um, just doing some more new work for me anyway, and trying to be more accurate really in the markets. That's just a overarching goal. Um, the S&P 500, we pulled back hard here. We are looks like trying to march back up again. The question is will this pivot hold? Um, and that's still the question. We do have green here. We've turned blue here, so that's you know a little bit of cause for concern. I think we were blue anyway, so it's not that much of a cause for concern, and we are oversold, or at least getting close on the 1 hour chart over here. I also added my um, Harvard line indicator on the weekly chart so you can kind of see it, and it's the same numbers, same context. You can see right there is where that, and by the way, we're more than halfway through the month now, so uh, continue to watch these things for staying above the Harvard lines or breaking above the Harvard lines if we have that going on, which I believe. Let's look at the industrials. We want to break back above the gold Harvard line. We closed above it for a month, pulled way back under it. The blue line is the actual stop for a longer term trade. So at this point, a longer term trade still is viable with this system. And actually, this could be a place to buy it, although I would wait for a better signal, like green lines here. However, you could get in here early and then just make sure you're setting your stop either at this pivot or even below that blue line all the way back to maybe these two pivots, something like that. But you're going to risk a little bit more if you're going to wait, or if you're not going to wait, I should say. Or you could let this thing pull back a little bit and even get into this zone right in here, and then buy in there, and then you're risking even less. So none of that's a recommendation. I'm just telling you how you could play it. So here's where the Russell did close up for the month above the gold Harvard line. It actually did there too, and it got hauled back under for a stop. Came back up, closed again, and technically speaking, it's down here for a stop. So it's two stops out in a row. The question is going to be is can we get up and going and make the maybe on the third try, maybe make it happen. All right, the Nasdaq. Sell signal, sell signal. This is possibly setting up a downward sloping channel, although I'm seeing a wedge pattern, a broadening pattern to the downside, which usually will culminate in a negative way. So we'll see. This pivot is the one we're looking to see if it'll hold. Then next I would say this is the most important pivot. So these pivots along the way though you can manage your risk. And we are red here and dark blue there. So what did IYT or the transports do today? These guys have been up and through the Harvard lines, and now looks like they're trying to possibly go down here and get taken out. But, you know, it's not there yet, and it's not the end of the month. So, TLT. I'm looking to potentially play the breakout of TLT and put a stop really close right underneath that pivot. It's a very risky trade. And then what did oil do today? Oil has been ripping higher. It looks like the futures are pulling back a little bit. Really nothing more to talk about on oil other than what it's been doing the last few really weeks. It's been going just straight up, and it's still making me angry because I didn't get in that move when it bounced right at the Harvard line. And it bounced right at the gold Harvard line. I was looking for a deeper pullback like the actual futures contract did, and it didn't do it. That's literally the reason I didn't get in, and that's just a missed opportunity on my part. Alright, I did go ahead and throw these down here too. Basically for the sake of the S&P 500. To show, that's interesting, the ES is different. So the ES, the futures contract, is actually showing more bullish than the SPX because this is still a higher high. This was a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low. This is kind of noise because it didn't make a new higher high, and so that ends up being the higher high. So the question is, really breaking down underneath this pivot, which is what I think I was talking about before. So wanted to show that. And then this is interesting because this is the ticks right here in this section, and the ticks never got real going today. I think the lowest they got here was like minus, well, that's minus 500, so they spiked down a little bit. But you can see the Friday we actually hit 1,000 a few times, or got into the neighborhood of it, which was a lot more major sell-off. And you can see it's kind of healing from a ticks perspective. So even though we flew in the face of all this selling, as far as these are the I can't remember what that thing's called right now, but anyways, these are the Nasdaq and the S&P. What are these things called? Oh well, it's escaping me right now. But anyways, the ticks are really, since they didn't get up and go on, I'm saying there's a chance this thing could gap higher and take off, because a bunch of people could have got bearish today, and I'm seeing some internals that are not backing that up. Advanced decline line. There you go. Sorry. That's what these are. These are advanced decline lines for the various indexes. So, and then finally the ES here. This is actually, I wanted to show that in this context, because the McClellan oscillators, they've pulled up, they've pulled back, they really went deep, and then back here when they went so deep twice, they went really back up above 200, and we're not there. So we're either losing this momentum, which is possible, and we're going to fail, or this thing could rally to over 100, and then we could probably take out that high right there. So, and yeah, that's that. Let's flip over to stockcharts.com and look at our bullish percent indexes and wrap this up. The industrials didn't move. The NYA up by 0.63%. The transports up by 10%. That's interesting. The Nasdaq actually fell and put in a new red circle today. I think during the day when I looked at that, it was an actual red circle, so it must print the 9 for the month after the market closes. The S&P down by 1.2%. The OEX, which is the S&P 100, minus 1.82%. And finally, the NDX tacked on a new O. That's the one I saw today. Sorry. Minus 6%. So we're still on a point and figure buy signal, but we'll continue to watch it until tomorrow night. Take care, guys. Good trading, and have a great night.